He's here, he's just finished up.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Matt Nowak.
Matt Nowak's here.
Lori Burbridge.
Trustee Burbridge, trustee
Wood Sprague.
Sprague.
Kathy Madison,
Trustee Madison.
Matthew St. Martin, village attorney.
Kevin Dreschel, CEO.
Tracy Durham, clerk treasurer.
Clerk treasurer, and Mayor Bill Kalush on here. Okay. Approval of the May 22nd, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Reports. This is the Mayor Kalush's first. We've got Soda Point Fire Department. Soda Point Fire Department had 11 calls in the month of half a month of May and part of June. They'll be holding 2 state classes in July. Surface water rescue 7, 12, and 13, and rescue boat operations 7, 19, and 20. Upcoming events: boot drive on the 2nd of September, and the golf tournament on September 18th. So if anybody's interested in playing golf, firemen will be at it. The CEO's report: we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8.
Building permits.
Building permits. Total, yeah, I'm sorry, total fees generated $1,265. Trustee Sprague.
Okay, so for wastewater, Josh sent me kind of an update on what's going on for the busy month in the wastewater department. Been hit with some pretty good rainstorms causing issues with high flows at the plant. They also caused a few control issues at the lift stations around the village. And Calisino had to come and do an emergency repair to Lake Road 2, as well as flight coaster to replace a pump at the main lift station. The pump they pulled is at the shop and hopefully will be rebuilt. Working through the generator inspection and finding many things that need to be need attention on most of the generators. He's been busy removing over 30,000 gallons of sludge this month, and along with the wastewater duties, he's been doing the trash pickup in the village, water and flower 3 days a week. And when it stormed, Kevin and Josh got to go cut some trees up that were in the way. He's cleaning the bathroom in the parks, and anything that else that pops up. That's pretty much it on wastewater. On the water department report, basically, we were taking monthly samples from the monthly report for the county. He's been working meter replacement with the residents. They did read the meters and put them in the computer. We actually spent about 4 hours one day driving around to all the new electronic meters and using the system and teaching everybody how to use that. So that was actually pretty productive. So I think that'll help a lot. And then he has resigned. So tomorrow is Nate's last day. So he just wanted to thank everybody for everything that happened and his time here. So I'd also like to thank him for his time. So that's wastewater. Really don't have anything to report on lighting. And I think that's it on my end.
Trustee Madison.
The ambulance, there were 16 calls for the month of May, 9 of them were billable. The Civil Waters ambulance trained this month with Wayne County EMS and the Coast Guard Auxiliary at the Coast Guard Station here in Sodas Point. The training was to improve on mutual aid practices, especially with respect to water rescues, which is Civil Waters kind of, their specialty. Civil Waters has a good amount of training and experience in water rescues. The town of Sodas approved and contributed $10,000 towards a second person on the summer ambulance team, which we approved at the last meeting, the team, to add a second person to complete the two-person team. Silver Waters, I just got this today, which is why I resent the thing, has a new person interested in becoming a member as a driver and pending background approval. So I would like to make a motion. His name is Trevon Campbell. He's also working towards his medical whatever, but at the moment he will be coming on as a driver. And to get him on board, I would like to make a motion that pending background approval, that Trevon Campbell be part of Civil Waters ambulance team as a driver.
Second on that
Second.
motion. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Approved.
Let me go on here. Tourism and communications, I lumped them together. I had looked and I provided this to the mayor earlier. There is a state grant program, it's a new grant out for community center improvements. And long story short, and I got with Sharon Lilla on this, the village does not qualify because we're not financially needy enough based on state database numbers. So there's no gray area on this. So unfortunately, we no need to apply. The information center, thanks to Nancy Karazinski, she set up a special historical display. It was last Friday at the information center, highlighting artifacts, including the battle of 1813 here in Sodas Point. I would like to take the information center back to the regular 7-hour days instead of 6-hour days. I just think that that's a good thing for, for our village. Looking at the numbers, and I got with Bob Jones down there, and there's also a few things we need to get a little bit of electric done, but that, I guess, comes out under buildings and whatnot. So I'm just gonna ask for, I'd like to make a motion that we add $500 back into the salaries for the folks at the information center.
I'll second that.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Lots of summer events coming up. I know you've seen stuff everywhere. I'm not gonna get into everything, but please look around. We got lots of things coming up this week and further, or next week and further. You can see that on sodasbayevents.net or on the village Facebook page. If you go to Facebook, it's Village of Sodas Point. And lastly, the Zoning Board of Appeals, I reminded Tom Johns to encourage the board to get their training done, and their certificates to Tracy. End of my reports.
One thing to add to your building down there.
Yes.
One of the new AEDs is was either done this afternoon attached to the building or mounted to the building down there or tomorrow. But it'll be done in plenty of time for 4th of July.
Okay.
It's an external case, it has an alarm on it. So that'll be mounted right on the information booth, and there's a sign that says AED, so it stands out.
It'll be outside.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
mounted outside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's good to know. It's good to have.
Yeah.
It's good to have.
That's just to add to yours. that's all.
Oh, that's great. That's good.
Trustee Noah?
So I worked with Kevin on the waste piping in the community center, boys and girls bathrooms, and now they're up and running 100%, where we had to close them down for a little while. Met with Kevin and Brandon Martin for the to get a quote on the foundations under the bathrooms because they're cracked and falling down. And also asked Corey Smith for a quote, but have not had a quote yet from either one, unless I know if you guys got one.
he's in.
Okay, all right, so we gotta get them fixed, I just don't know, nobody wants to quote it. So,
Did Brandon say anything? I mean, he talked with you, didn't he, originally?
Well, we met
about
with
a
him.
different way to
yeah,
do it without getting,
If maybe I can work on a bid spec for it if we want, or, I mean, we can figure it out.
that's what we have to do.
I can do a bid spec, or we can, we can figure that out. But, yeah,
but we definitely gotta fix it.
No, right, it's gotta be done. It's gotta
The
be
ends
done.
without falling down. Had the garbage containers reinstalled because they were taken away because people are putting household trash in there. They're around the Hots Point and the 650 in the baseball area. So if we could, I'd like to get some signs that say on all the garbage containers that you can't put your household garbage in or boating garbage.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because people are filling them up.
Okay.
I organized with Kevin Rooney to use the county's dump truck to bring in hot patch to fill the potholes. For the holes we filled on the south side of Lake Road, both Seaman Road entrances, intersections, and finished at Willow Park. All three employees stayed an extra hour to complete the potholes. Thanks to them and thanks to Justin who brought the hot patch.
Okay.
And trying to read myself. Looking into a shelter to put over the sewer plant trailer, because basically Josh has to cover that every time it rains with plastic. So I'd like to get some type of cover that's gonna cover the whole thing and keep it in the rain getting into the solids, because otherwise we're defeating our purpose. And so. I'd like
So
to look
Matt,
into
so I've had some bunch of discussions with Josh about actually moving the solids, moving where we actually do all that work. So if we do anything now, it has to be temporary because the
that.
permanent
Well, yeah,
fix,
yeah, it's something.
the permanent fix is to completely move it so that
But
it's.
that's
up to
gonna be engineered and take a little while.
Again, but we don't want to spend a lot of money on it.
No, no.
Maybe 10 or something.
Not at all, yeah, just something just
Okay.
to, so he doesn't have to sit out there covered with plastic, it's pretty,
Okay, well,
Yeah, we'll talk about it
so
later.
we talk about it and figure out what you gotta come up with.
well, I think Kevin might have a type of building to cover it or something like a cover.
We talked about
cover all.
tents, there's a couple different
Sorry, I'm trying to
structures.
get this link to work. Yeah, there's like the garage in the box type idea. Bill brought up the tent idea.
Those coveralls, right, the covers, what do they call those?
Well, you know,
ones that
like,
are-
Pop-ups or.
Yeah,
Yeah, just something.
There's like the
so
equipment
he's-
trailers, like or the equipment tents, like the farmers use,
Yeah,
something like that, just snow and wind rated. You
right.
can get something like that.
Well,
So
so we don't
he's-
necessarily need it in the winter because he doesn't only press in summer.
So you could almost take it down if you had to in a windstorm or something.
Yeah, so we can talk about that and figure out.
They're pretty protected
What,
down
what
there.
about a parking system for the trailer?
Yeah, he does it now, he covered it.
When we said plastic, I mean, can we just get a
We
tarp?
get a tarp
system?
too, it's,
But if you, so Buffalo Canvas makes up, you can custom order
Mhm.
a canvas from that'll just roll up on the
It's-
cab. And then they can put eyelets all the way down it, so you can just bungee cord, so it's just a matter of pulling a rope out, putting bungees 4 or 5.
Gotta go over the
yeah, we have
top
to
of
customize, because the arm sticks up high and goes down in, so it'd be kind of.
It's gotta go
it's
over
not
the top of
flat.
that conveyor,
It's gotta go over the conveyor too.
so it's gonna be, that's a hard.
It's not just.
Yeah,
like
that's,
loading
so
it. That's not-
the garage, like, we call it garage in a box, the equipment ones. I think I saw one that was like 24 to the peak or 24 with a 18-inch door. Then we'd have them just pop a hole in the side, so it'd get over the 12-foot conveyor. I think that was like 3,500 or something.
Yeah, so
So-
something temporary till,
I can get
till
it- I
this,
can get it
till
figured
that might happen. I mean, we have to work on it.
Work it out between the three of you
Yeah.
then to figure out what you can come up with.
So the debris pickup is scheduled, has always been, they've been picking it up. And thanks to Kevin and Josh for doing the debris the other day. Trying to get the black mulch around the trees by July 3rd with the highway department. I met with Greg Switzer to look over the rock issue and the sign location. The sign on the one side is in the right position,
Mhm.
but the other one on the, probably the northern end of that walkway is way far away, so people can't really see it. But I heard the guys went out and moved the rocks today.
Oh, they did.
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, I heard that. I
Yeah.
didn't.
It looked like one, the rock on the north side was removed, I didn't check the south side.
Yeah,
Right, just the,
it's like Mr. Switzer was worried about like the strollers for kids and,
I had two ladies come up to me downtown, I was talking to the sheriff, and they came up and said they had a hard time getting between the rock
yeah.
and the sides of the fence, because the opening is supposed to
And he's
be
moving
set
the,
up to
the
be
the
10
guy
feet.
that's there.
And Dave made the okay to make it narrower, and then he put a couple of flower pots next to it,
And
and
push
then the
them in.
stone, and it just closed the gap up more and more, and that's why I talked to Terry about having that rock moved. He said, well, I put it down there for Dave, and I said, well, it's just causing a blockage, and we don't need people getting hurt or tripped or whatever.
Could we drill a hole and put a pipe baler in there so we don't get golf
I
carts?
talked to him, I said something to Terry
It's not a
about
bad
putting a pipe or just anything out far enough to
In the
give you the
middle.
room, but to keep the vehicles, the motorized vehicles out of there, so I think so.
It's not bad.
Do we have the title for that yet, as far as who owns it, that property, and where the right of way actually is?
I have no idea.
We need to know that. Are you the one we should talk to about it?
Which property are you talking about?
ROW,
For the one that the lawsuit was about?
Yeah,
Yeah, title rests with the village. For the right of way portion.
so who pays the taxes on that then? Or is that notated so it has a tax?
I think we just gotta
ID?
Well, I think they took, you guys took it as an easement.
Yeah, we
So,
just got an easement.
yeah, so the taxes would remain with the homeowners.
But I thought the judge ruled that it wasn't the homeowner's property.
The judge found that it was, that piece, the right of way piece was still vested in the railroad successor.
So they should be getting the tax bill, not the tax.
I would assume, yeah.
Because we didn't pay them for the right of way because the judge determined that the homeowners didn't own it.
I think they got paid, it was like a nominal amount, but they did get paid something, I think, or they were, I believe, as part of the eminent domain. I didn't do the actual eminent domain lawsuit,
I mean, I know.
Who would have paid that then?
but like the,
Because we certainly didn't sign
I
any
don't
bills,
think it's more.
oh, okay, I mean, you could be right, yeah, I'm
I'm
not
not
sure.
sure.
unless the
We would have to
lawyer
look
paid
into
it
it.
for us, which I know lawyers do, and we reimburse the lawyer, but I don't remember seeing that on any bills either.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think we went to all the trouble of getting that. And I think we need a clear understanding that's really well known as to what we actually own or don't own, or if it's an easement and the property owner owns it, there should be something that is definitive for the
Yeah.
protection of all.
So the court signed an order transferring title to the easement to the village, so and it has clear legal boundaries as to where it runs. So that would be, I can get you a copy of the order if you'd like to
Okay,
see it, but
that
that
would be
would be, and it was surveyed, so there's a survey for that portion, which should be part of the file, but I can certainly find it, because I have it as well. So that's what the village has, is an easement to a right of way to walk across that they go across, that the actual title would still be the homeowners or the successor in interest of the railroad for that piece.
So basically, there wouldn't be a tax number. So I have to equate this to something like Cook Street is on my property. We own
Okay.
Cook Street, but everybody has an easement on it.
Or Cook Street's different, that's a gore. That's a totally different thing.
Okay, then what is this to help me understand it? Because
What about sidewalks?
the tax map,
Sidewalks are part of people's property or not?
the tax number there should be
Yeah, so
either be a
usually-
tax number.
So they would, so sidewalks are,
So
it's
you're-
still the homeowner owns it, but again, you have.
But we still have an
to
easement.
cross it, yeah.
Right, so that's basically the same thing,
Well, except then the people are still having to pay the taxes on it.
even where the sidewalk.
That'd be for them to take up as far as if they
okay.
didn't.
So even where
believe
the
that,
sidewalks.
They should pay for that piece because the railroad owns it, that the
Okay.
property owners would have to raise that issue.
Okay, all right. I'm good with that as long as we have a clear legal.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'll make a note.
I mean, I missed
I'll
a
get
couple
that
other
to you,
things.
Laura.
Trustee Verber,
Oh,
your
yeah,
turn.
okay, playground committee. The playground committee had a very successful fundraiser on June 7th with golf ball drop. Project raised $83.95 and another $1,000 was given back by the winners. We continue to wait for the mulch that was requested at the last meeting, and I wondered, has anything happened with that mulch? The playground is out of compliance, and I know we talked about it, and we were told that it was gonna be ordered.
Yeah, that's in the in the whole business, let's cover it there. Okay.
Oh,
So is
okay,
it
you're
okay?
right, it is,
Okay.
okay. The playground is out of compliance. The village supplies the mulch as part of its obligation to the community until the playground is under construction. The LWRP, Sharon initially told me that nothing had happened because it was in the state of New York. Then she came back and she said that a couple months ago, she had written me and I wrote her back and we got lost in translation. So I want to kind of move this forward if possible. We need to schedule the LWRP meeting for sure for July, on the July agenda. We also need to send the zoning portion of it to zoning. Does the board look at that before it goes to zoning, or can we send it to zoning and then have them give it back? That's the question for you, Matt.
Okay, so you have the LWRP draft, John, and you're asking if, so zoning needs to approve, what is zoning specifically?
There are some
approve on?
changes in zoning law.
Okay, but the actual final code changes would be with the village board, right?
Right,
Okay, so we're referring it to zoning just for recommendations on
Right.
it essentially, okay. Normally, the usual process would be essentially you would receive the application, then refer it to them for comments, then it would come back to you for final approval.
okay, so if we do that in July, that would get it done by August, so when it comes back, because we're a little bit behind on that timeline
For
then.
that, so it's gotta go.
And then the other,
Planning, You guys. Just for the
Okay.
procedure.
Okay, does it come first or?
Yeah,
referral?
so
Yeah.
it goes zoning, planning, this board, so it's gotta go in that order, so I think I can do it. When's your meeting here? Is it Thursday? Is it
July.
just 17th?
July 17th.
It's good.
So that's only 3 weeks.
No, I have to do the 14th, the 21st. I won't have it in time for July. I can maybe do a special meeting.
I think you would need to, because it's more than just a few, it's a pretty lengthy document, but I can get it sent out tonight.
I'm gonna
I think
have
I've got
to do
everything I
like 2
need.
or 3 to get it done by the 17th, so I'll ask both of them.
Okay,
So I'll see if I can get it done in time.
thank you, Kevin.
We're different than every other municipality on that. It's weird when they make us do it that way.
So it goes to zoning and,
Zoning has to give the recommendation on planning. We're like the only municipality that goes in that order for some reason.
okay. And then who does the seeker on that? Do we do it then?
Usually you would do it as, you would declare, the village board would declare itself lead agency, and then you can ask for input from the other boards.
Okay,
But I think you use an department with Judas on it, right? So
Yeah.
they would probably be the seeker, so you want to confirm with them how they want to handle it, but that's the norm, is that you would be the lead agency.
and we'd be the lead agency, so we can ask them to lead us through that in,
Yeah,
July.
they should like pre-fill it all and go through it with you,
okay,
I would assume.
all right. So that'll work for July meeting.
Give it a shot.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much. And that's that.
You all set?
Yeah.
So you go, Drew. Your name's up next, man. I don't know what
Oh, you read my report.
that's just for your report. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Public comments?
Philip Leon, 75 Fifth Street. I don't know where you're at with the short-term rental, but I think, it might be prudent of us to contact the people that are Main Street market analysis and maybe look into what our occupancy rate has been on Airbnb for the last 3 years and see if it's trending up or trending down. And just be cognizant of, we don't want to do anything to hurt the industry or that business in town. Any additional costs or burden, could deter people from not doing it. Things have just definitely tightened up on the short-term rental stuff since COVID. COVID looks like there wasn't enough out there. Now it seems like we're pretty saturated. So I would caution, what we do with it, not be hasteful. I know there's been a lot of work done on it, but checking it, trend and seeing what our occupancy, if there, I don't know if there's a clearing house for that, I haven't done any research on it, but I think we should keep an eye on that, because if I know personally my occupancies were way down last year, and people seem to be very late to book this year. So and from the other people I've talked to, it's kind of been a trend in the area, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Public comment?
I got a few messages that the Zoom link's not working.
It is now. There was like one thing at the end that wasn't in there, so it wasn't letting him through. But it is up. Because we have quite a few online right now.
Somebody else like that?
If you want to give it a minute and then maybe.
Anybody on Zoom that has public comments? Okay, we're gonna close the public comment section, get into the old business section. One of the things that's on the A side of this is the floating docks that we've been talking about, that Brandon from Tidesides has donated. I'd like to see us move on with it, but I've been trying to check around and see what I'm gonna need for permit wise and that. And Kevin has talked about the fact that being a community, we can do 9 slips without having any real heartache. And I don't want to open us up to having the Corps of Engineers come in and say, you can't. I know you do a lot of that, Phil. But we've got a gangway we're gonna have to get our hands on or have built. And then installation wise, we were looking at $10,000 initially, but that would have been for the full 40 slips. I'm hoping I can work with Brandon and, cut that down. There are gonna be some slips that we've talked about, maybe the town of Solis using a few of them. Breaking them up and moving them around, so we've got them in different areas. Something to talk about, but the one thing I'm concerned of right now is
We're talking about floating docks on that scene.
Oh, I wanted to make a public comment on this one. It's just that I can't get on with Zoom for some reason.
We just got the link fixed a minute ago. It was-
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Can I make a public comment, Phil? Thank you. I'm sorry.
sorry about that.
That's okay. I was
we'll
eating
talk to you
dinner.
about that.
Copy and paste wasn't
On
my
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
so.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I tried. Good evening. How is everybody tonight?
Good.
I want to just talk a little bit about the dock situation. I saw it on the agenda and then I called. We had a committee and we had an engineering company work with our committee on 5 recommendations. One of the recommendations was the beach area where you guys are considering. It was actually ruled out. And I'll tell you why. When I originally applied for the kayak launch grant, that was where I wanted it, where the Kitty Beach was. And I went to the planning and zoning board, because that would have been perfect, right? And they both said, absolutely not. We will not approve it over there because of the parking situation. Ideally, well, a couple things. First of all, so we still have this committee that's available. And I just want to know, I mean, it's great that Brandon's donating this stuff, that's awesome. But has anyone approached the Sills? Because is there a way that we can, one of the options was to extend their docks that they have now. And now that we've got an easement between Willow Park and the people, what's their names? They're building the house. The Briggs, yeah, and the Sills. The reason why everyone chose that is ideally, that's like the perfect area. Right. So I'm just wondering if anybody has been in contact with them. Maybe it's a good opportunity to just give them, a heads up that we've got these docks now. Is there any way we can work together? I think trying to permit the docks over on Willow, on Fitzhugh is gonna be very
Wickham?
difficult. Wickham, yeah, sorry.
You get there soon.
Google break is gonna be really difficult. It wouldn't have been so difficult if we hadn't put the revetment in there, but Because prior to that, the DEC said we could have docks there.
Our location is nowhere near down the wall area.
Okay,
It's literally up in this corner, and you know where the Ketchum docks are sitting?
yeah,
Between the Ketchum docks and the abutment or abutment or whatever you wanna call it,
Mhm.
let's go right straight out towards the south from there
mhm,
with 9 slips. The reason I picked that spot was, and this started with
Sorry.
Bud Bristol and I back a year ago or better, was because it's within 5 to 10 minutes of every walking thing in Sodas Point.
yeah,
I mean, the old lighthouse, the pier, Wayne County Parks.
yeah,
All the businesses downtown, everything is there, the right of way is there.
Yeah.
I've talked to Kevin Rooney,
mhm,
the county does not come up that far.
mhm.
Kevin and I have talked, periodically about this. It's just a matter of putting a gang plan or a gang runway down and getting Brandon to set them and then go from there. They need some work, there's no doubt. The decks need to be painted, stuff like that. However, that's why we went with that point. Plus, it's reasonably protected. I know Phil knows it can get pretty nasty up in that corner. But summertime wise, my biggest concern all along was the fact of not having water depth. And it still is. And Phil, we talked about that. However, most of the people that are gonna be using that, it's gonna be in a boat that might be 20, 22, 25 feet long. They're gonna come in there. The object is to go in downtown, have your dinner, go to House Point, or whatever,
Right,
come back over and away you go. That's the reason we picked where we did there.
but it needs to be permitted. Do you think, Kevin, do we in touch with the DEC, do you think they permitted there?
So, floating permit or floating docks would be exempt, but it's still an OGS requirement. So municipal uses, water plant uses are exempt. It's a definition thing. If it's a docking facility, 5 dock slips. Over 5 dock slips, you have to get it permitted. If it's considered a mooring facility, which it's a definition, because if you look at the definition of mooring or docking, depends, more than 10 or more, it's exempt. So it depends what we can
Oh,
do.
nice.
Yeah, so, but if we.
Well,
put
you
them
know
through
what
this-
happened with OGS with 650 too, they said there was no permits needed, and then it's all blown up.
Yeah,
That's not true.
That is true,
It isn't.
it
Okay.
is true.
I'm out. Couple of minutes, thanks.
Go ahead.
You're all
Thanks.
done.
So
Thank
I
you.
would
I can
like
look
to be
into-
involved
Can we
in
do
this.
some over there and some at Willow Park area?
There's just the problem down in Willow Park in that area back where the park rounds off, is there's
Walkway.
there's just not a lot of room. I mean, and they'd be coming in between the White Boathouse, Frenzer Docks, trying to get back to them. I mean, I'm not saying not to look at it, but
What's
that's
that, what's
kind of
that
been
kayak
one.
little area by Trent or Caitlin? Is that a little area right there?
oh, the North Ontario worker you're talking about.
Yeah, is that her area? We could put some there or no?
That's the other point that we've got with that down on Wickham, is the fact that it's county, state owned, and it's, anyway.
I
We'll move on
would-
to it.
I would like to be involved in this since I was on the original committee, to choose the docs, and I would like, can you get a hold of the Sills just to kind of talk to them a little bit, because really, that was, I gotta tell you, the model that they put together for the Sill Landing was incredible. It was gonna be a museum. I mean, it was a big deal, and it still can be a pretty glorious place. So I understand where you're
Thanks.
coming. I think we could do it right away if OGS lets us. I just don't trust OGS after the fiasco with 650. So that's all I have
Okay.
to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for fixing the kayak launch. It's been broken all summer. A lot of people disappointed. It's not fixed yet, but it's gonna be fixed very soon. Okay, thank you.
I was worried, that was a today thing, it's already fixed.
Any other comments as far as the floating dice go?
Yeah,
Go
just
on.
on the floating docks, if we're gonna be able to do this and say, put the 9 down on Wickham, let's just say those are the only 9 we can do. It's quick, and if you get the right permits, you're all set. Do we have any idea what it'll cost to fix them and get them so they're usable?
I think the biggest thing when I talked to Brandon was, put some paint like on the decks and that, you definitely would have to do an inspection on them to see, what was needed. I haven't yet where they are. I haven't even looked at them. I've just looked over the bank at them.
So I looked at them a little bit. The good news is that there's enough of them that we can choose the good from the bad and use the good.
And do we take the bad and put it somewhere to store it so we
Well,
can
and
use it
that's,
down the road?
that's another situation that we have to look at is.
Cause he's gonna want us to
he-
take them all, right?
He wants us to take them all, but we don't have a,
Place to store
we've talked about, putting them along Wickham Boulevard just to store them. Well, we can't do
them.
that.
No,
We can't do that.
the highway barn or something.
So taking them apart maybe and loading them up there, I mean, Phil,
It's a lot of work, but I would,
But
come
they're free,
fall,
right?
we're gonna put 9 in, I would donate my ramp and barge time to pull the spuds and float
Okay.
them. So if the highway guys wanna unbolt them as I bring them in my forklifts on there, I can load them on the trailer. And,
there's
you know,
something-
it's time, I mean,
I
I
think we
think we
got
got
room
room
up there.
staff right now, but.
Yeah.
I got room at the highway.
And just be clear, make sure you get the definition from them if they're calling it whichever facility. So you don't put 9 in and then get fined, because it's all in the wording and how that is. It's either 5 or 9. So
Okay,
don't go doing it and then, we get fined.
regretting it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna give you a real
Oh.
hard time, but.
yeah. I'd rather be safe.
Oh, yeah, no, me too.
I would go on the pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather
Oh,
be-
yeah.
Yeah, whatever I can do,
Matt, what do you think?
because this is like a trial.
Yeah.
Everybody's
And
been,
it's not, it'd be however they define it.
and it's not so much the people, so it's the rest of the base.
Because we can't
Right,
gamble
it's not
with,
requirements.
we
Well,
can't
yeah.
gamble with a $10,000 fine.
They have to
Yes,
give you a
I
written
would certainly try to do
description of
something
what,
right for
don't
them
they?
first.
Is there a written description or
Yeah, there
something?
is. It's 270 the NAV law, and the NAV law has definitions, and I can
So we
interpret it
might not
one
get
way
it
and
in
they
this
can
season.
interpret it another way.
So when you write this up, you put down what the 291 is or whatever, and then say, yeah.
Yeah.
And then put, this is my interpretation, is it
So what I would
correct?
do is I would call them first, and I would say, I need something in writing saying how many docks I can put in before I need a land underwater permit from you. And then they would send it back in an email to me with their name, their title and everything.
And
And
then,
I'd give it to him, and then he would give it to our installer.
What
So-
about just doing a joint application, so you're covered all the way around?
I mean, if we don't have to go that route, because if you do a joint application, then we're gonna be 6 months down the road before every agency looks at it, says
right,
no jurisdiction. So I mean, it's whatever you guys want me to do. I can do the joint application and we'll do it next season, or I can get the email.
we're trying to do it quick though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to, but we're
It's up
just
to you guys.
far into it.
And you
and
think
it's
it could
like,
happen by July?
I mean, I can call OGS and I can ask, and if I get the email in a week, then I'll get the email in a week, or I can do the joint application.
That's all we can do.
Send it out, DEC will do letter of non-jurisdiction, Department of State will do their concurrence with, Army Corps, and then OGS will give their opinion.
So we get it done early, otherwise we just.
You have to go to the county.
To Kevin Rooney wants, what, I don't have an answer on that, yeah, she's right, we have to ask the county, but we're
Well-
exempt from the same rules as, like, if it was, like, someone else putting in a dock.
all Kevin said to me was that he would like to see a drawing of what we're gonna do. And he says he has no problem with anything up in that corner. I've talked to the sheriff's department down there, the water boys. They have no problem with it whatsoever. It's just as far as being able to get up in there, we're not screwing up the pathway of the boats and that kind of thing.
At the same time, I'm already calling OGS, if it's helpful, I can ask what it takes to extend. I assume Sills has an active land underwater lease. I can ask what it takes to extend their perimeter.
But we gotta think of something.
You have to
These
go to
da-
the county planning board. There's no way
These
around
docks-
that.
So we're
Please have
exempt.
a seat, Maxine, for a minute.
Sure.
Thank you. These docks that we've got right now, I'm not sure putting them out on the end of sills. I know they're nice docks, but you get wind from every direction. It gets rough unless they're gonna be in behind something down there, and I don't know where the location was. I was never part of that before. But, where we are down here, just go ahead and start that.
Mhm.
Do what you gotta do, and then we'll go from that point, once you get something back from them.
So
Because it may not happen this year.
Right.
And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, we'll get through it.
Worth a try.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, Sills owns their land underwater, so
Right.
I don't think that's an issue there. I think where you run into an issue is the pipes aren't gonna be long enough for
Yep,
the water.
Because it's deep water.
Does it deep water?
Yes,
I don't
so,
know, I don't know if they're talking about coming off of her dock system, but I don't think she'd want the liability of people coming over her dock system, and then the others leased out to construction companies, so there's just
Yeah.
no way you're gonna have safe passage through that property right now.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future, but not now.
okay. Let's move on to village handbook. I guess, is everybody does everybody have one, or did they have one? A copy of the handbook that you looked through and,
So
go ahead.
I'm kind of the one that put this forward after we got it at the special meeting, and I believe Tracy and I think you worked on it and Maxine, and it was put on a shelf for some reason for a few years.
The flood, COVID, you name
Yeah.
it, we got hit with the world.
So this is a great document. We got just a little bit of tweaking to make it reflective of, there's some things that have changed in our committees. But for the most part, you could adopt it and everybody'd understand what's going on. For a new board member, this gives them a lot of great guidelines and information that they don't have. And I asked for one of these, like, when I first came on the board. And I was told there wasn't such a thing as a job description or expectations of the boards. The other thing, the only other things I would add to it is the procurement policy and the sexual harassment policy, because those things would automatically, and any other policies like that, a new board member should know. And then I would say we put in a list of requirements that need to be to the clerk by Monday or Friday, and the dates of when our reports are due and that sort of thing. And I think we need to negotiate that a little more. We had originally said Friday, but it doesn't go anyplace until Monday morning anyways. So it could be Monday at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever. So that when Tracy and the gang from the office get here, they could go to work on what our reports are. And then you add whatever it is that night. But I really think we should adopt this and have a policy that says all new board members will receive this as a guideline to the position. And it would have answered a lot of questions for every one of us. I mean, for instance, I thought when I attended all those planning board meetings, I was just doing a good deed. But in here, it says I'm supposed to. Okay?
Do me a favor on some of the changes that you need to make,
Yeah,
or you think should be made, just jot them down.
I've got them all jotted on here.
Um,
And I'd be glad to do that, or I'm glad to turn this in and let you do it. I got like, should it be deleted, like the street light commissioner at this time, they were putting in all the LEDs and that sort of thing. Is that combined now with the energy commissioner, or whatever you're doing, or is it a separate category? Because I've never heard a street light report since I've been on the board in
I
5
think we
years.
fixed it, so now it says, so originally it was, Maxine's title was trying to purchase streetlights, now it's the commissioner who maintains it, so like Whit came in, showed us how to use the system. We have a couple that are down, so we were trying to make a plan to get those fixed.
So it still
It
exists.
still exists, and like, we had no idea how to, I know it sounds silly, we had no idea how to use it, and it was counterintuitive. Like what you thought was supposed to be, it wasn't.
I spent several hours and I figured it all out, so we know how to actually program it now.
That's awesome.
So instead of everything on 100% or 0%, we can,
So is that something that falls under, say, energy commissioner, or are they separate? So I just had delete with a question or combine.
Okay, well, let's go through
We
it
all
and actually
get
see what
that.
makes sense.
Okay,
If we all get back to you with our comments.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
Paul.
Can we get to public comments? Your Zoom wasn't working.
I got it working now, but he probably came, like, it was probably the transition of him leaving where he was, and yeah, so it's up to you if you wanna.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. Short and sweet.
Okay, do you want
Go ahead,
to go now? I can wait till the end. You want to do it?
go ahead. Let's do it.
All right, good evening. Here because I'm pretty pissed off. I'm sick and tired of decisions that trample on our village trust and financial security. First, a quick nod to Phil, my friend. Congrats on your wedding. Your actions are part of the problem now. I'm not letting you off the hook. Let's get to the mess we're dealing with. We deserve better than this circus. Who amongst you really think that they can run this village like a personal empire? Trustee Noack, you took it upon yourself and future trustee Leon to pave Lake Road and Hots Point parking lot, didn't you? You did it despite our mayor's flat out telling you no. A phone call and an email. Crystal clear. The village's insurance company said don't do it. The village lawyer, what would you do? No? Probably told you the same. The mayor told you no, the insurance company told you no, and yet you barreled ahead and you did it, like you're above everyone else. Do you even bother to check with the village lawyer before you did this? Wanted to call him? So who's gonna pay when this blows up? There's a lawsuit. Who's on the hook? The village. So you defy direct orders. You guys should be liable for any fallout from this.
I didn't divide that because he called me on Wednesday and told me we were okay.
What I told you is that you could stand and watch them do the work, but you could
Yeah, we weren't
not.
riding any machines, right?
I got pictures, man. I'm just telling you, you were pushing a wheelbarrow, you were raking blacktop, the insurance company said no. And you sent me a text that said, I'll take my chances. Am I right?
Well, that was prior. So you told me it was okay.
But I'll take my
But
chances.
let me ask you a question. What, didn't you get certified to run the water plant?
I'm not certified to do anything.
Didn't you take
I
a
don't
test
run
or something?
anything.
Didn't you
No.
take a test or something a
I
couple
do
days
nothing.
ago with Kevin?
What?
No,
You told me you did,
no, I rode in the car and we watched them use the application.
and you got
I'm
certified.
not certified.
It was training.
It was
But
just a
training.
training on how to use
Why are you
software.
getting training?
On this, because he knows how to use software better than.
But I
So
didn't,
he's working. for
but I
the
didn't do
government.
No,
anything.
he-
I sat in the
Okay.
car and observed.
Okay, in any case.
We volunteered
We're
our thing
through-
for free.
You know
we're through
what?
it.
So. you
The water
defied
department's
orders.
a little bit more
I still have
liable.
the floor. So you defied orders, right? You defied orders from the mayor. You defy orders from an insurance company. You defy orders from everybody. Did any other trustee know you were doing this? Did you guys all okay this? So now it puts the village, and Matthew, I don't know, maybe you could tell us this. Doesn't it put the village on the hook then?
Point of order.
Yeah, I would have to say, you
I
know,
know
the
you
advice,
can't.
yeah, I can't answer that. The advice that I give to the board or its members.
Right,
or the
so
mayor
that's a
are
yes.
confidential.
That's fine, that's a yes. You can invite lawsuits. The other thing is, Phil, you're gonna be a trustee. Why are you posting shit on Facebook, stuff on Facebook, right? You're posting the pictures of those sidewalks. Now, you know that you guys all should be talking about those sidewalks and what's happening and get a plan going together. You should have been here and talked to them and say, hey, might be a future trustee, let's do this. But now the town knows about it, the whole town. That puts the town in a bad position, and as a trustee, you should know that. Because now you make everybody aware of what's going on. Now they know about it, now they're liable, right, Matthew?
Yeah, I can't answer that.
Yes,
So what do we just leave standing liability? Is that what we do?
No, they put cones over it, and they're gonna work on it, but you shouldn't
So did we
expose
close,
it that
did we
way right
close,
away.
did we close the sidewalk then?
You should
Should we
be
close
talking
the
to them
sidewalk?
and
Should we
trying to
close
come
the
up
roads
with
with the
something.
with the potholes? Should we close the parking lots with the potholes?
But there
What if
is an
somebody
order
trips over a
on-
parking
there is
lot?
an
What if
order
somebody
doing
trips
things.
over a
Wait,
parking lot?
Okay, hold on.
Which should we
I'm
do?
not done, I'm
You're
still
2
doing my,
minutes,
we
you're over.
can talk after. Just because it's like a reality show. Lori, for you,
Yes, sir.
Friends of Willow Park, you're 503c1. Do you take any money from that?
Not a thing,
You're not paid anything?
nothing.
You're not doing anything with it?
Nope.
Are your books open so people can
Yep.
see? So
Oh.
all your donations, you are not taking a fee for any advisory or anything like that?
Not 1 cent.
Not 1 cent, okay. Because we already know that your integrity is nothing.
Well, good for you.
No.
I don't think
everybody-
you need to say personal things like that.
Oh, I'm sorry,
okay?
I'm sorry.
That is out of order.
Everybody knows, but anyway. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So what are we gonna do with the paving? Who's taking, is the village gonna get an insurance, right? Because now we weren't on the hook for it, but now we are.
What are you on the hook for?
If somebody slips and falls on that, listen,
On that, and then
Yeah.
not the potholes? The
Yeah.
potholes in Willow Park? Are
if
you
you
kidding
get
me?
fixed
Okay,
into
guys.
it and somebody
Are you
fell on
kidding
it,
me?
A
little
little
kid
come
running
after
across
speed.
there and trips on a pothole?
You
That's
should have
more
went the right
liability than
channels.
us fixing them.
You should have went the right channels. You think you're above this
He told
board?
me on Wednesday I was
He
okay.
told you that?
That's what he told me.
So you're trying to put it on him?
I'm just telling you what I heard.
You guys have no accountability.
No
2
accountability.
minutes is up.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
accountability.
Yeah.
So when, okay,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
No,
I'm done,
I
but
understand.
I'm just saying that there's proof that you were told.
You're
not
just
to do it.
pissed off that we didn't invite you to go out there.
I don't wanna fucking do any paving.
Oh,
You do it
really?
Yourself.
Okay,
Okay, guys.
Yeah, seriously. I don't want to do
Seriously.
paving.
Thanks,
seriously,
Matt.
Yeah, seriously.
seriously.
Okay. Handbook wise. We're gonna move it on. Do you wanna okay it the way it is with changes? How do you wanna do this?
Can somebody send the handbook to me, so I can take a look at it?
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. We'll send it there. Why don't you,
I'll make a list from what I got, or do you want me to just, I'll give you this, Matt. It's got anything on there.
Oh, it's your copy, if you wanna
I
just
got
scan
another
it,
copy
can you
of it.
scan it to me or something?
got
Well,
that.
actually,
I
I
got
got
the-
that from when Tracy sent it to me. I can do it right now.
Yeah, Kevin's gonna email.
I have
it.
the Word copy, so we can make changes to it.
okay. Next one, mulch.
I was the one asking for it for the playground.
Yep. Yep. Lori, when are you gonna start digging down there this fall, you know?
We're hoping, we're waiting on one, we've been promised one $200,000 grant. We're waiting for the approval on that. If that happens, I'm pretty sure we're gonna go forward because playground's gonna give us a grant towards it too.
So can I ask just?
But I won't have a definitive answer until the 31st of July.
Okay.
If that's the case, then we'll have the landscape architect with all of the information on it. And
So we're supposed to approve that of specific what you're doing.
the plan has been approved.
The concept has been approved,
Right.
but not the plan.
Yes, it has to come back.
Yeah, it has to come back, but it would
Yes.
come back with what, we'll have an architect that gives that presentation to you as to exactly what we're gonna do and the plan to do it. And the proof of insurance and all that kind of thing.
So in the mulch, I just wanna, my grandsons and I have been there a lot,
Mhm.
playing around. And there are places where the mulch has been pushed.
Yeah.
I think if we rake the mulch
There,
to different spots, it'll be adequate.
it's not
because-
adequate. According to the playground specialist, they measured it, but you can't get a kid, I took my handicapped granddaughter down there.
Okay.
Okay, we went to the thing, we pushed all of the stuff there. And you weren't able to get her on that. If the mulch had been the right height, you could have,
Oh, you said to get up the stairs or whatever?
to get up the stairs, to get up the.
So it's a height
on the
issue,
thing, it's a
not-
height
Because
issue.
the thickness is pretty good in most places.
It's
So,
supposed to be 4 to 6 inches.
okay.
My concern, the only reason I asked if you had an idea when this was gonna take over is if we spend $4,000 on it right now, and in 4 months,
We're throwing it all
it's
away.
gonna get torn up and vanish.
I don't think
Just-
we need to spend as much, I think we only need like maybe just a pile that we can distribute to the places, and if it stays in a pile, it doesn't matter. And we could use that then in the rose garden or whatever it is, we can reuse some of that mulch.
The other issue was, we knew this when budget time was coming up, I mean, if this was gonna have. to be done.
I said that, and I was told that it usually came out of the highway barn. And so Brad always ordered it, so he would like, I think if you probably ordered a yard or two, that's probably all we need.
Okay.
To put it in the heights such as what you're
So
saying.
you're looking at what, $300-400?
Yeah.
$500?
So if you had, and if I have to, I'll do that from the playground, but the playground folks feel that it's still the town's,
For right now.
village's
No, I
responsibility.
understand. Just was a tough pill to swallow when we looked at what we spent the last time on it, and it was $4,500.
Well, that was
or
because
whatever.
we didn't have hardly any.
Okay.
This time we've got it, and like you say, we've got it in some places, but it's not
So you
high
need
enough.
a basically.
You just gotta
a bigger-
replenish it.
A bigger pile in front of the steps so that you
Yeah.
get, so it's not such a big step.
So this is it's the certified playground chips, right?
Yep.
100 yard.
We
Cubic
don't-
yard-
we don't-
Cubic yard is, it was 28.50. But if you go, it's expensive because the delivery fee is $75,
Where you gotta go to get it?
Manchester. So
Yeah.
can we just have our guys?
Why don't we send it?
Yeah, why can't we send a dump truck?
For $25, you might as well get 5
Mm.
yards.
That much?
We got enough.
But we don't need,
Because last time we, was
We probably did the whole thing.
47.
yeah, we did the whole thing. We don't need to do the whole thing. We just need to fill the holes in the levels.
So
Let's,
can I, because
Fine.
Terry, I talked with him and he was saying that there would just be a couple spots. So,
If it was under all the swings where the slides are, and then the steps going up.
Mhm.
And then I think under the teeter totter, I noticed it was bad.
Mhm.
so where it gets worn out.
Yeah,
We're looking at the most side of the park.
Excellent.
yeah, I think if we say not to exceed or
Okay,
to,
so that doesn't have to be approved or anything, but I can talk with Terry tomorrow.
Okay.
About it.
Excellent.
okay, perfect,
Excellent.
thank you.
Okay, new business.
Can I ask a favor? Bill?
Oh, yes.
I noticed under new business, you have the towaway signs, and we have a
Oh,
guest
yeah.
in the back. Can we
Yeah,
have
can
that
we,
moved up?
can we put that at the, right now?
First,
Yeah.
what are we,
The
towaway
towaway
sign?
sign? Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed. it.
you wanna do that first?
Yeah, if
Yes,
we could,
please.
'cause I just noticed they're in the back.
Okay, we're gonna bounce around and go to D from A, towaway signs, 8527 Greg Street.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, didn't mean to put you way off there.
Hey, guys.
Name, address, well, address I'm not worried about, but your name and that, please.
Carl Carey, Melody Carey, representing Docks Waterfront. I guess we just wanted to confirm, permission if needed to post these tourist signs, as you know, always have parking issues and everybody parking in the lots, so. just wanted
And
to-
for your property, you mean, to put them up in your own property?
Peeled up just a little higher, because it does have the address, and that was one question I know you asked, Matt. Yeah.
How far is that garage from there?
So I think that's probably like 2.25 miles, right, at least.
To Beverly?
Let me put it in,
The Featherly's is 4 miles to Elton from here.
4 miles.
Maybe 4.5 or 5, yeah, but
It's the
not on the
closest,
side.
it's the closest place you
Closest
can.
one.
Close there, okay.
I checked with the village when I did mine.
3.9 miles from here.
Okay.
So you have something like that on your property?
Yeah, all my parking spots, otherwise we get ran over.
We'll just put in all the parking spots just on the entrance.
So it's not, we don't do like a zone, then if we just allow them to sign up, like we just say.
So we just.
Is there anything in the code saying can't sign?
Well, so, yes, their signage would be, like, they're already pushing the limits on signage for the area, but this is, we can make an exemption for the difference, because this is kind of like it. So like, they're coming for a variance
So
already.
this would be at the entrance as you drive in towards the building,
Exemptions,
or the
The driveway.
entrance,
They
the
do
driveway,
like
just
call
to
it traffic
deter,
sign, maybe?
you know, yeah,
Illegal parking.
parking, go to Jack's.
Yep.
Yeah.
As they do it.
Authorize it.
It speaks volumes, you know, having that towing thing on there.
Yep.
I found it to be very successful in my place.
Well, the other thing is too, is that nobody, I mean, the building has been empty, so everybody and their brother parked there, and everybody and their brother is using it, you know what I mean, and it's still being used, so I understand what you're doing.
So what we're gonna do is not call it a zone, we're just gonna say it's private property, and we're gonna go under this section. 190-26, and then if the village board approves it, do that one.
It's exempt.
That's exempt from the sign law. If we're okay,
If you guys want to approve it.
if you guys are okay with approving that. So maybe other temporary emergency or non-advertising sites may be authorized by village board.
It's fine with me.
You guys want to tell them the code section to say?
Yeah, so it's 190-26 G number 5.
So, anybody wanna make a motion that we permit that?
Sure, I'll make a motion for what you just said. For the numbers,
I
I make a
second.
motion.
I second.
Got a second here, all in favor?
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Good luck, guys.
Different than what.
Yes, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Pursue a district. That whole thing.
Okay.
Do.
Back to the water main connection, Margaretta Road, from the water plant to Lake Road.
Sorry.
So number one, it's not going to Lake Road.
It's going to Geneva.
It's from Geneva.
To
to
Margaret.
The
Margaret.
one on the corner that crosses, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And they don't connect, it feeds the heights.
Okay. I didn't know what you called it, I just
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it's been a problem for a long time, and that's a really
So-
They were
big.
low on pressure.
So from an engineering perspective, it's not gonna raise the pressure at the heights.
No,
Because it'll
no,
fall off.
but we
as it
don't
goes
have a
there.
secondary,
It'll just give us a secondary
And
service. Yeah.
that's what I always understood, and that we really need that if ever the one we have fails.
Correct.
And it's pretty old. Those are my understanding from Mark, when I was in your shoes.
Yeah, so I think we have, I don't know if we have two quotes. I know that we were waiting for a quote and then Nate decided to resign, threw a little bit of a monkey wrench into things, but it is what it is. Tracy,
just
did
gotta
we
get
ever get
another
the second
quote.
quote or no?
From Bill Elliott.
Or
Bob
about-
Elliott.
So do we want to analyze, or do we want to read those before we, I mean, taking another
I
month?
think Bob would come in cheaper, I thought.
I think he did. Do we want to actually do a motion tonight to deal with it? or do we
Fine with
wanna-
him. Bill.
Or do we want to have Bob and design?
What is the cost?
I'd
Because
rather, well, yeah, and I'd rather have the two if that's what we've got to have before we
Yeah,
make the motion. I don't
we-
want
we got ding
It's like
dong,
backdating something. I don't.
I agree
I don't
with that.
do that.
We can Make a decision next month.
Can I ask a question on this real quick, because I'm probably gonna be the one who has to deal with the engineer? Can we kind of get things in order now that Nate's stepping aside? Because I'm gonna be it's either gonna be me or Josh, and I know we both have a lot of work. So maybe, can we wait one meeting before we do this, just so we can kind of get someone in that place, and get our
Okay.
feet underneath
Give us
us?
a little time.
Just a little bit of time, I mean, because right now it's either gonna fall to Josh or I to deal with this engineer, whoever it is for the design work, and I'm probably 2 weeks back on work right now. I don't
Well, he's
know,
gonna
Josh,
ultimately have to deal with the health department.
Right, but
She's
someone's
the one
gonna
that's
have to
gonna
be
be the
out in
one
the
to-
field.
Don't we have all of this from
It's not
Barton
designed.
and the Judas?
It's not the design, it's gonna be going out in the field, it's gonna be looking at the
Yeah.
quotes, calling people.
Okay,
I don't have
well, at
time.
least it would be on the agenda,
I
which
had
has
Wayne
never been
County Water
before.
Authority,
And we
give
can
us a price.
get something going.
And the water
before
authority
fall.
was down in there yesterday, I saw them looking around.
They're probably just reading the meter, they come
Yeah.
read the
they're-
meter every day, yeah,
Okay.
they check the meter.
Okay.
So,
So
and
I
that's
can,
just a-
I can
that's
live
just a
with that
favor
as
ask.
long as we have it going.
Let's move forward to and go another month, like you said, and that'll give us some time all the way around to maybe fill a position or, you know.
At least get the 3 quotes for the engineering
Get,
firm.
get what we need.
I think
I-
Bill's
so table-
probably the best. He was cheaper, right?
Bob?
Was Bob cheaper?
Table it.
Yes,
Table it.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
we're gonna
fine.
table this for at least another month until we get things running on an even keel here.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
I think, we should plan to put it on every agenda until we act on it.
There we go.
There you go.
That works.
Okay, the next one
The CHIPS project,
is the CHIPS project. I believe there's information in your pile that you got, on, oh, you're gonna give it to everybody? I'm sorry, well, okay, with just, explanations, what can be done, that kind of thing, because I was blind at this too. And I haven't truthfully read through it yet.
I haven't either, but, if it's in this board packet, because.
It's not,
Okay.
it's not.
The concern I have is that every year we've been doing road work
Mhm.
and things like that. And if we don't do any road work, next year we aren't gonna have a budget line for more work because of reimbursement. So I believe we should get something done this year.
Well, my biggest concern with, and Matt and I talked about this because of the way the road was back when this all started, is with the trucks that have run back and forth on that road, they beat poor Lake Road to death.
All right,
That's why we did this.
And I still haven't heard anything back from Kevin to find out what's gonna happen with the East Pier when they start coming into town. Now, I was told verbally from a guy that works for the county, they're gonna come up 14 and utilize that, but I don't know if they are. So that's something I'd like to do. I get a chance, I'll give Kevin a call and see if he's got any answers, because he may not have any answers yet. either.
Kevin Rooney.
Yes, go ahead. Phil.
I think a very simple fix would be buy 4 tonnage rated sign saying no vehicles over 4 ton unless local. Meaning like local.
On Lake Road, you mean?
Yeah, on Lake Road and Margaretta, because you don't, if they shortcut down Margaretta, you're gonna have the same problem. So I think if we just post that road at both ends, so we need 4 signs, 4 posts.
Well, we would have to go further out than that. We'd have to go all the way to,
So wherever the next turn is.
yeah, which
Oh, you go to the
would,
4 corner,
no, all the way to
Geneva Road.
Geneva and Maple, because you have to, and actually you have to, you have to go all the way down, because
I think they're planning on using.
No, I think we could go North Geneva on both of them, because they can turn down North Geneva then. And if the county
They
wants
use
to
it
post
before.
North
What's our
Geneva,
tonnage on your trucks?
He was gonna
What's
help
our
us.
top tonnage? 'Cause we wouldn't really be
I think
able-
they're gonna help us with
I don't even know what
the
we're rated at.
repairs.
That's a good idea, so why don't we just
I can-
discuss it and figure it out?
Yeah.
Right.
So that way,
I believe Kevin was gonna help.
I'll give Kevin a
truckers gonna
call.
go down a posted
Um,
road.
Okay.
Just to ask,
What'd you say?
You
for
know,
four?
No trucker's gonna go down a posted road. It'll
Okay.
be fine. It's an overweight fine. A state highway is designed to handle 80,000 pounds. Let them go down the state highway for a little bit of inconvenience.
Yeah.
We gotta protect ourselves in this family.
Okay, so-
We took a beating with those 2 projects.
Yeah.
To Aggressive Beach and Charles Point. Thousands of cycles of, trucks going on.
next round, or the next one is number C, closeout sewer capital project.
There's no resolution in there.
Yeah, going back to the CHIPS projects. So we put up the signs and everything. Then over the next month, or are you guys gonna talk about what we might need to do yet? And have a plan so that by January, when this has to go in for reimbursement, we have something that we've done?
Yeah, and the big thing is I want to check with Kevin first to find out exactly which road, what they're gonna be doing. Like Phil says, you put those signs up, but depending on what happens, I'll just get an answer from Kevin. And the signs, they're not gonna get done because they're probably something done by the county, am I correct?
It's county sign shop, but it's also more than just that, because I'm pretty sure because then we'd have to rewrite vehicle and traffic law, wouldn't we? For that?
Usually you have specified like an appendix in the back that lists the restrictions on your individual roadways, so you need to do, I can look at it, but I assume you'd need to do a local law amendment in that section.
Yeah, and then I think
Be
you
subject to
also,
a public hearing, I mean, it's not that,
it's
it's the
not,
end of the world, it's not that necessarily that hard. But then it also depends, I'm not that familiar with the local roadways, are these like, if there's intersection with county roads and stuff, then you gotta get their input on.
that's what I was afraid of, I think, and then we also have the state road, where I don't know if state would make us do a traffic study. on
Yeah,
that.
and you may have your hand, work cut out for you if we've got to go further up into the town of Sodas, because that's county. Outside the village of Sodas Point, you've got all the farmers and that around, and I
But
just,
those are local, it's local if you're going to your own property or whatever.
well, yeah, but if they come
Once
down.
once you
head
intersect
or
with
whatever.
county and state, you get into a weird
Mhm.
traffic studies and
So-
different things.
Why don't we just ask for the common courtesy?
I think we
to go
get-
on 14.
We're gonna need to get-
14, save our
Yeah.
roads.
We're gonna need to get a little bit more information than what we've got.
Also find out if you can do a temporary sign until the road is repaired or whatever. I mean,
I can ask.
Well, the road's really not supposed to handle that kind of weight, but it did for so long. I mean, it's not gonna get
Probably,
pretty much
yeah.
any worse than it does.
Okay,
It did until it didn't. I mean, the road's destroyed and the
Yeah.
lane coming in
now,
significantly worse than the one going out.
So,
So there
Phil,
was-
don't you think though that the
so there was
base is,
talk about the
the
county.
base is
coming in
there,
to
we
do
just
that.
gotta
Well,
get rid of the
oh,
top?
yeah,
And we haven't
don't think
had
the base
any.
is there?
county services.
It was never an
Yeah.
engineered road. It was a farm road that they just kept putting asphalt on penetration. It's not-
Yeah, Kevin's been contacted about giving us a hand doing some of the blacktop stuff and that kind of thing, so, and that'll be something that, and if I'm not mistaken, I have to look into the book a little bit.
So in going to that, what we're trying to do is have at least the reimbursement program going, so our roads don't all end up
I believe you said he would reimburse.
in need of repair all at once.
Okay.
So the process they were doing, is Lake Road, County Road outside the village?
Yes,
Yeah.
So that process they're doing is that if that's under state bid, and we have CHIPS money, you shouldn't, that would probably, the fact that those guys, I don't know if they're still down there, but that would be our least expensive way to.
You're talking about burning it, burning the road and.
Yeah, to recycle.
Kevin won't do it, because I did ask him, he won't do that because of the canopy cover. he said it wouldn't be.
The tree canopy?
Yeah, the tree canopy, he won't do it on our road. He won't even,
Why don't catch fire or?
all I know is when I did talk to him, he said that that was not anything that we could even consider for ours. He would rather us tar and stone it if we were gonna resurface it, but
Well, it's
we,
not really, we really need it to be reprofiled because the road got pumped.
Yeah.
Hydraulic pump them all the way.
yeah, and this isn't my expertise, so I can't even really.
But if it's,
speak to it. I
if
can
it's
tell you
state
that
bid, we
that's-
can, it's not county, it's our choice to do it, so unless the contractor could say, I wanna do it because of the canopy, I mean, not that I wanna disregard Kevin, but maybe we should consult with him, if it's on state bid, and we have the money in the budget, we could at least get that road back to flat where the water's coming off it again.
I don't, all I know is that when I asked Kevin, because when we
Because it's not the county doing it, it's a contractor under state bid.
Yeah, so we saw Kevin and them doing it, and I called immediately and said, hey, what does that cost to do? He said Source Point wouldn't even be able to do it, just because of the canopy.
So the canopy does go over the street, doesn't it?
Correct, yeah, so that heat
Yeah.
that radiates, I guess, it doesn't dissipate enough for something to
Yeah.
probably catch it. That's my assumption, I don't know, not my expertise.
So
I
has
just called
anybody
and asked.
looked into the time frame when the last time Lake Road was done?
Long time ago.
Do we know time?
It's,
Happy knows,
it's
he
critical,
told,
what, in the timeframe? Was
it was like 2012.
So there must be some records in the highway department.
Happy knows, it's like 2012.
Yeah, he had a number,
I can't remember the date.
With chips, there's a time period for.
So it's basically a lot of tops just falling off.
Okay, let's move on to the next section. We'll keep things going in that direction and find out where we've got to go. Close out the sewer capital project. Teresa, you got a,
So we borrowed the money for the wastewater capital project. And we have basically, we made all our expenses that we can do for this project. There is a balance of $4,472.56. I am just asking to put that back in debt service, close that out and put it in debt service so that it can go toward the payment instead of just sitting in a bank account. So that's just what this is.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, from my understanding, you can't use it for anything else
It's-
anyway, so it
It's
makes
very
no sense to keep.
specific,
Yeah.
and we've used it for what it was just extra money that we had borrowed, so I would like to put it back.
So moved.
second,
Second.
And the amount of money is $4,472.56.
Yes. So that'll go back into the sewer fund, and then I'll use that to make the payment. To pay toward it on that ban.
okay, last one in that group, short-term rental / chapter 151, setting a public hearing. We've heard from a couple people. Are we at a point to set a public hearing and see which direction we're gonna go?
We haven't really looked at this. Isn't this the first time we've seen it?
No.
No, because
Oh, we
they
saw it.
We
They
saw
made
it 2
several
months
corrections.
ago.
Okay.
Corrections.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of suggestions and it was, I think the planning board was gonna take a crack at
And
potentially.
they came
Did they
back.
come
Yeah,
back?
this is.
So we haven't
I
seen,
haven't seen
this is the
No,
first time.
no, it was 2 months ago, we saw this copy, and I thought we were moving, we,
Oh,
at the
I'm
time, we
cool if
wanted,
we've seen it and
we
I'll go
wanted
home
to
and pull it.
wait, we wanted to wait until there were more. people
Oh,
there.
after the season.
Okay,
If-
right.
Until
After
the
the
That's
season.
right. where they-
And we wouldn't, this wouldn't take
You're right.
effect this season
You're
anyway, because it's already underway.
Right.
There was some
So-
suggestions of change it.
Well, Airbnb, they cover the places, right? Insurances from
Insurance is
Airbnb.
covered under Airbnb.
So this
Yeah,
hasn't been
yeah.
released to the public yet, so it would be released to the public for their review. And then we would take a final look at it and then approve it.
They would have chance
Chance to
come
put
in,
input.
but yeah, it would be a public hearing.
That we did,
Whatever, but yeah, that insurance thing, we put it at what the state said. Backed it down, and I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's a state law, so defaulted to whatever the state law
Is it default Airbnb insurance?
As far as,
Somebody gets hurt at the house. is it-
well,
That's not our problem.
well, usually, I mean, it's common in these laws to require them to have, proof, like they were provide proof of insurance as part of, if they're getting a permit or something
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
that's. But I think
Yeah.
it might be more than that, but it's a state.
I think it
law.
was like, I actually wrote revised this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said it was
What I
originally in,
did. I think it was.
yeah, that VRBO or something. We just went to that and saw that that's what it was.
As far as like, that's what the company requires as well.
Yeah, I think they dragged or something. When I looked at it, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, like I said, I revised that, but I
Okay,
just don't
so are we
really
gonna-
remember that well.
We're gonna set up a public hearing or?
Yeah, I think we should go ahead and set it up, and if we have any questions like that, then we can put it in, but I did read this really well and made a couple of suggestions, I believe, in the first one, but I don't know that I saw it since the second. Will there be enough time, you think?
We'll do the public hearing at 6 and
Let's see, it's very-
go ahead for your motion to set up the public hearing on the
17th.
So we'll
Wait.
Public hearing is July. I thought they were sending it to the other two boards.
Because I was gonna try and do special meetings.
So, and I'm not gonna be here for July board meeting, I'm on vacation.
July.
Where you going, buddy?
Want to see my parents?
Oh, nice.
I think
This is
Put
what
it
I
in
was
for
gonna try and
August.
do. I was gonna try and do 8th, 9th,
yeah, that
14th,
it may,
15th, 16th.
that may be best because I may not.
Don't do it.
here for the
Yeah, because we're really not gonna get it.
how many
anything
people
changed
are
by
gonna be here on the
this year.
17th?
I think I am. I'll double check, but let's see
Talking
here.
about, what's not gonna be here on the 17th. And I'm
Sorry.
not sure if I'm gonna be here on the 17th.
What we were talking about was the other ERP stuff that I'm trying to get together. You're gonna have to do a public hearing for that seeker and that stuff too. In
Okay,
July, so we're trying to figure out if we can even get that. I don't even know if I can get the planning and zoning boards together for that stuff. So,
So,
I do the 24th.
so you're not gonna be here, you're not gonna be here, no, you're not gonna be here, so.
We have to move the meeting date.
Is everybody here on the 24th?
is it 23rd?
I mean, I can ask Melanie if she's available. If that's,
You wanna do it tentatively for the 24th until we find out what.
Will you be back by the 24th?
yeah, what are you?
Yeah, I'm gone the 12th to the 19th. So I'll be back that following weekend.
We do that depending on the.
Yeah, I would.
So July 24th.
At what time?
And so then you're gonna do, are you gonna do 2 public here? What do you think, Tom?
I'm gonna try and get them together.
The short-term public hearing? And
Is-
then do that one, do that other one, the other in August?
So is Barton and Judas, I think we gotta kind of communicate with them and see if they
Yeah.
can meet their requirements for that too.
Mhm. So chapter 151 for July 24th,
Yeah.
tentatively, it's gonna have to be tentative, and then
August, whatever it is. That'll give more time for the zoning and everything too.
The 24th for the public hearing for short-term rental, what time are you gonna do that?
6. Is that gonna be enough time?
30 minutes, public hearing.
It's gonna have to be.
I mean, you can always keep it open, you know.
Yeah.
you just start the meeting late, whatever.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, or just during the public hearing, do it at a future date if they don't, you know what I mean, to allow them to.
I mean, I don't think you'd be in big trouble for letting the meeting go an hour on that, if
Well,
it's needed.
I mean, we're not talking about the short-term rental being effective till next year anyway, so we have plenty of time. Input. So you want me to do the notice for that, Tracy?
So it's the for the 24th at 6. And that's it, the meeting is going to be on that Sunday.
And I'll do it in words, so if you end up having to change it.
So we're gonna do the village board meeting from move to that date also.
As long as Melanie, yeah, I need to talk to Melanie.
Yep.
Yeah. She's okay with that.
Mhm.
Okay,
And then the LWRP would be done at the August 21st meeting.
Okay.
That
That would
make
space
more
out better
sense,
for
yeah.
us, 'cause
Okay.
otherwise I've gotta try and put 4 special meetings together, which would be tough.
Yeah.
Kathy won't see Bruce anytime soon.
So the zoning would be at sometime in July
Yes.
and, okay.
yeah, give them some time to work on it.
So we need to make a motion to approve setting the, oh, you have a motion on the floor to do that.
Which one?
You made a motion for the short-term rental.
Oh, to start the public hearing on July 24th at 6 o'clock.
Second, if that's what we have to do, you making a motion,
Yeah,
somebody else sign it? Don't need to, do you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, it does not gonna hurt anything, you
Okay.
can pass the motion, but you don't.
I-
really want to
okay.
just-
I'll withdraw the motion.
Okay. I was gonna say.
You just seconded it.
Thank you.
All right.
It's just a
Well,
pleasure.
withdraw your second.
No, I
We are
You
to
just need to post
be
it.
paying the bills. Tracy?
Oh my gosh, I don't have the number.
Oh,
Over here, hold on.
You want this
It's not on this.
Sure you pay the water.
No, I need the.
those are the last ones.
I'll get them all mixed up.
I know.
You were doing fine.
No, I.
Already started the meeting. He used to whisper. He used to sit right
Really
there.
this is horrible.
And he used to whisper, but his whisper, I don't know if he was deaf or something. It wasn't whisper, it was very loud. And we talk about like nothing. He was so
So it is a
loud.
total of 296,953.91. General fund,
What was that, 296?
296,953.91. And general is 235,717.74. And water is 25,937.33. And wastewater is 35,298.84. I'll make the motion.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, the budget transfer,
That is not,
no,
no,
okay, what
that was the
about,
other, the closeout.
savings and interest and stuff?
I don't know what was supposed to be done for that.
Okay.
That was, I don't, for the savings interest that. the-
Oh,
That's,
I think
I don't have. any-
we're gonna discuss that. As a board, in my opinion, we had interest that was presented in 3 budget years, I believe it is. Actually, let's take the 5. Somewhere along the line, we thought that we were getting just the 0.0, whatever it was, 3% interest or that we got. And it was explained to us because of COVID and all the things that were going on, that was what the interest rate was. But then when you find out that other banks paid that, the higher rate of 3.5, it makes you think that Lions National Bank should have been paying us more, and they should have come forward and advised us when we had millions of dollars in bank. It's almost embarrassing to say this. I think we should go back to Lions National Bank. And it's actually, and I'm in agreement with Matt, because Matt was the one that mentioned this, but it was the board's fault, clearly. Wasn't anybody else's fault. That was in process. We should have questioned it heavier, and we should have been saying, let's go back. I think we should go back and ask them to make this, to make that right. And say, if not, we're gonna start looking at other banks. I think they will probably try to make it right. Now, it might be a donation to the community center,
So,
which would be a really good thing.
so can I make just a statement?
Yeah.
About the way these accounts are set up? So our account is demand account. So I actually did a little bit of research on it. And there are state law and county law about how we can have accounts. And as part of that account, we don't, so to earn interest, theoretically, it's not, this is a big checking account. And because FDIC rules say that you have to have $250,000 or less, we had to get M&T Bank to put up collateral for our checking account at Lions National Bank. So they actually cover it, so it's like a bond. So they're protecting us from if Lions.
Because we're a municipal.
Yeah, because it's municipal, it's all municipal funding. So because Lions Bank, if they go belly up, M&T Bank has collateral that will cover our funds.
Okay,
So as a result, that is a checking account. There are other types of accounts that are available, they call them time deposit accounts, that we would have to set up, which are bond accounts. So they're CDs, those kind of things, short-term or longer-term investments that you can't touch. If we do that, we have to manage it every year. So as a board, we would now have to manage those investments and keep track of them.
you aren't allowed to invest.
But we're making $5,800 a month right now.
I understand that, I
The same
understand
account.
that. So if you read the document, it literally says they are allowed to charge no, or pay no interest. So we certainly can ask them, hey, can you give us something?
That's all we're trying to do.
Right, but I
That's all we're
don't
trying to
know
do.
that they literally have any, I don't think that they have to give us anything.
Well, they might not.
Well, they might have, but at least.
Yeah, so I think we just ask them, right?
That-
I mean, we only made
that's all.
$600 roughly in 2023, it was the
Right.
highest interest.
100%. I
I mean, and now we're
understand.
making
Yeah.
5,800, that's what, so I think I'm asking about.
Yeah, yeah,
Not trying to be a jerk to anybody,
yeah, no, so we'll ask them and see. I don't know that
I'm just looking out. for
I don't
the
think they can.
residents.
Yeah, no, well, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can't imagine that they would want to lose that. I mean, they're pretty sizable.
I mean, we might be able to negotiate,
So, yeah, so
we might not.
Yeah.
changing the bank for us would be
So what
brutal.
would you like me to ask? Well, I'm just, what am I
I'd
asking?
like to go there with
Well,
the
there's,
board.
there's
and
not a
have
lot of
meeting.
local banks that can handle your kind
Right.
of account too.
No,
Yeah, so-
Only,
It's
yeah.
not,
But-
I'm on a bank account.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
that
so-
would be me asking.
So I guess what we're asking is, can you ask, you're now paying us interest. You didn't pay us interest for whatever, the last X amount of years. Number one, why?
And my
Well,
board is
it's
asking,
not really, I would just go back to 23, because that was like the highest one,
Okay.
my
And
board is asking why.
23, 24.
yeah, so can you, number one, say
24 would be a
why?
little
And is
bit
there
more.
anything that we can do to recoup some of that interest? I guess I just ask and see what they say.
So the interest rate that was there, if we just don't, we're questioning that interest rate.
Why was
Because
it so
like
low?
this year, we're making
Because
1,500 bucks.
like
a month.
in 2016, it was the same as what it was in 2023.
So it
It
fluctuates.
went down in 23.
So that's when the interest rate went up for everybody. So the highest
So
mortgage
what-
rates were
Okay,
8.25.
I will.
So, and actually ask them, how do they calculate it? I wonder if it's, indexed on the Fed or something.
and there's no reason a board member can't go with Tracy to make those questions, is there?
It's the mayor, no, it's, I mean, it would be me.
I mean, it's in the thing that we can ask about financials.
Would be Tracy and I,
Isn't it? the
which is
mayor?
fine.
Okay.
Which is fine. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the two of them are the only two.
See, that,
Well, they're fight for us.
but not that I have to be careful, but Sherry works in the main office over there, so. you know,
Well,
Me and Melanie.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, she's on.
well, I think that
Yeah, so
the,
which one answer?
the lieutenant,
I think we should do it.
Yeah, if it's uncomfortable for you, though.
It's just I'm just gonna ask
There's
the
no reason
question.
that-
No, I think that they would, it's appropriate that,
Yeah, I'm going to email my contact person.
Yeah.
That's,
And explain it.
if you guys had just said that, whenever you discussed it a long time ago, I could have already had the answer for you.
Okay, so that's what we'll do.
Yeah,
That's right. Whether it's through email, in person, or whatever, we'll get an answer for it. Okay, executive session.
I need executive session.
Yes.
Yep. To discuss potential legal.
Yeah, so, folks,
There will be
Thank you.
action afterwards too.
Yeah.
potentially. Just as a-
thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
thank you.
If you